like the sound of when a Marshall stack or a big bass amp, it actually pushes air.
Yeah.
You can feel the...
Yeah.
And when you take that away to stand side of stage, it's a really kind of odd bit of rock and roll feeling that sounds great in your ears because you don't know anything better.
Yeah.
But it's just a new world.
It's it's not like it used to be. No. Not when you had 40 Marshall stacks on stage and 3 8x10s and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
who's the loudest? What's the loudest thing you remember?
Acoustically or just like...
like the time you went home going, oh mate, that's just wow. I've had ear and ear like hallucinations sort of thing where my ears were just spinning out for a few hours afterwards.
Probably it'd be a toss up between the night Greg Clark mixed Rose Tattoo at the Hard Rock Cafe in the Gold Coast. And it was an IndyCar weekend, and he had the Midas board outside, mixing outside on the balcony from behind the band.
With no clue, just crank it.
It was just it was just Clarky. It was just like, where's my mixing stick? Which was just a broom handle that he'd just push every fader up with. That was pretty brutal. The loudest thing I've ever heard in a gig would have to be the Ball Breaker tour, when it was the last night of the AC/DC tour in Australia, and we're all in we're in Sydney at the Sydney Entertainment Centre, and their pyro guy double packed all the cannons for those about to rock.
Wow.
So usually you only pack like a film canister's worth of powder.
Yeah.
And blast powder into the top of the cannon and put the wick in and seal it and then drop it in and hook it up to the igniter, the electronic igniter and all that sort of stuff. So that when he presses the button, they're all in line, they all go off at the one fucking time. Well, this evening he decided he would double pack every cannon, and it was so loud that I'm pretty sure it almost, gave one or two members of AC/DC a slight heart attack that evening. So it set off all the... This was back when they used to have concussion tubes that would go from the back of the stage and take the absorption of the shock, and it would push it out through the fire doors of the Sydney Entertainment Centre. I remember that car park that used to be behind there?
Yep.
It set off every car alarm in a 10k radius too. It was that loud. Wow. That was loud. I was aware that it was going to happen. A few people weren't. So yeah, but it was that was nice. Loud. Motorhead were pretty loud. That was a pretty loud band.
Yeah. Do you wear in-ear protection or?
When I'm at a festival, if I will. Not while I'm mixing my band. So usually, if I'm at a festival for the whole day, I will put some form of protection in. Yeah.
What? Just plugs or noise break? Okay.
No, just plugs.
Yeah.
So I have a tendency to lose things. So me buying a stupid expensive amount of earplugs at the moment would not be any good, so I just lose them. So. I'm
surprised, man. You can get, if you go on the App Store, you can get ear testing apps.
Oh yeah,
and they're pretty good. Half of our band, I'm not too bad, is what I mean to say. It says if you're 60, you can hear this frequency. Yep. Everyone goes, yep. 50, 45. Half the no, I can't hear that. You can't hear that? I can hear it like tomorrow, 35. Struggle Street. Yeah, they're pretty legit.
Yeah, the audio, it's just tones, sine waves.
Yeah. So, man, the amount of noise you would have heard, ears must be pretty
they're alright, actually.
Forgiving.
Well, no, I don't really have a problem with them. I get them checked every year. But yeah, no, I don't have a real problem with them. I don't get ear infections like some people do. I don't.
Do you cotton bud your ears like a crazy man like me?
No.
Oh, dude.
No, I get them candled.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I get them candled every now and then, which is weird.
Yeah, I know I'm a freak for the cotton bud technique.
No, you're just pushing it back down.
No, they're spotless. Totally spotless. Trust me, I'm a nutcase.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so then So the art, what setup's this band?
You've got Azaria on vocals. KJ does vocals as well. She's the bass player. And then you've got Jordan on drums. And I have not met the new guitarist.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what kind of band is that? Many Effects or...
Shit.
Or basic rock and roll gig for you is what I mean.
No, there'll be a few effects in there, just on Zara's vocal. I like to put it like a sort of like a Robert Smith Cure type of delay on him every now and then, because he does these falsetto things every now and then. I'm not too sure of how much of the new album they're going to play tonight, so it may be a majority of all new songs, so which I've only heard a few times. But I wouldn't like to describe them now, because if I did, I'd probably get it wrong.
Okay.
Knowing me, because they're the kind of, when I first met them, they were like a Sydney garage pop punk band that were very heavily influenced by like the Pixies and Nirvana and sort of that sort of era of like the Seattle sort of shoot sound, but crossed with their own like take on it, with a bit of the Cure sort of thrown in, if that makes any sense. And then they evolved into a more mature sort of sound with the very sort of, I don't know, I'd say Here Comes the War, the album that I was touring with them, the songs that they were playing off that, that evolved from when we started to something completely different to when the album came out, and it had a lot to do with them working with Frenchie and being over in the States with him, and he tends to bring out the best in artists, more so than a few producers that I've met recently.
Frenchie who's up?
Frenchie Smith, who did the Jet album and who did their last album, the Arts last album, or second last album. So they're the kind of band that's always evolving. So,
do you know what's happened with Jet?
I think one of them's living in France. I think one of them's living in Paris. One of them's living in New York. I don't know what's going on with the rest of the guys. I think Davey's living in Melbourne still. But, yeah, I know the two brothers, one's in New York and one's in France last time I heard, but that's all I know. So, I think... No, for some reason I thought they were supporting Guns N' Roses, but I think that might be Airborne.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Oh, that's great.
I could be wrong on both accounts. So, I thought the Cult were going to be supporting Gunners like they did in the States and in Mexico.
Yeah.
So, that would have been killer.
Yeah.
But to see them tonight's going to be killer anyway, so...
Okay, overseas, what's the best gig for you as a working sort of... What place do you go? Man, that was awesome room, awesome setup, awesome lug, the whole every happiness.
Overseas... Apart from the lug and everything like that, playing the Whiskey A Go-Go last year was pretty phenomenal. I never thought I'd do that. So, I've been to the Whiskey before, but I never thought I'd mix inside the Whiskey. And having the privilege of doing that was pretty cool. So, considering half the bands that used to be on my wall as a kid had played there, so... And just the atmosphere and...
Is it an in-house PA?
Yeah, it's in-house PA. So, they got in-house PA. You cart your stuff in off the strip. Put it in, and
Was Lemmy still around then?
Lemmy was, but he wasn't going out that often. That was when he was in his decline, but not a lot of people knew about that at the time. So, but yeah, Lemmy was still around.
You would have seen his movie.
Yeah,
great movie, huh?
Yeah, I've been into where was it, the Rainbow one night. He'd pretty much, I think he just left when me and the boys from the Hell City Glamours were there. I think, and the Art were there as well. They were actually hanging out next door at a guitar thing they had to attend. Susanna Hoffs from the Bangles was playing in there. I got to meet her too. That was pretty cool. So I didn't get to meet Lemmy, but I got to meet Susanna Hoffs from the Bengals. So, you know, I was still a happy boy. So, yeah. Apart from that, the Dirty Dog in Austin, Texas is always really nice to the people that play there, and their hospitality is just second to none. So I've been there during South by Southwest when they've been, you know, absolutely punished with 3 or 4 with like a month's worth of just non-stop music and arts and film and all that sort of stuff. And then I've been there, you know, when it hasn't been South by Southwest, and we've just been in there with El Nino playing shows. And as I said, the hospitality of those guys at the Dirty Dog in Austin is always exceptional. Lovely people.
Yeah. So you're going to Sydney soon with Dark Cell. Is that an Aussie tour?
Yeah, they're doing their Haunted Reality tour. They've just released an album. We released it on Halloween, actually, 31st of October. They released it. So, and it's called Haunted Reality. So.
And what happens there? Do you gone are the days when you tour a Pantech truck around with the PA, or?
No, we don't tour the PA, but we tour. No, we don't do that anymore. Some people still do. Like, Boy and Bear are touring some stuff at the moment. They've got a truck out, James Layden, I think's with them, and stuff like that. So there are tours that still do that. Like the Jets will still tour some PA, and stuff like that. But no, we will have, when we go to Sydney next week, we will have I think it's a 9-seat van with space in the back, and the kit, the guitar rigs, the innies, everything goes in there. All the costumes, the makeup, everything. Yeah, the backdrops, the set, because they've got some little pieces of set that they use, like some banners and stuff that gets covered over the guitar rigs, and with caricatures on it and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. And yes, they do have makeup and costumes.
Yeah, and props to them, mate. Like I know, like Jesse, I remember Jesse at Dracula's restaurant so many years ago. It's probably the first time I ever met him.
Yeah.
And he knows everyone. I've had this conversation with so many people. Like there's a man in every man on stage, and you know that you're like, look, I know I'm going to feel like this band is a certain thing, and be it just a shirt that you don't, once you get on that stage, you've got to wear something different. It's like no one really wants to, but it's a fact that you've got to sell this product, and it's something kind of weird that everyone has to do, even if it's just a different T-shirt.
Yeah.
So Dark Cell, they go
next level with that.
Next level. And I'm sure they're like, oh man, fuck, I wish we were just like some daggy folk band or something. We'd wear no shoes, but probably not.
To a certain extent, they are different people on that stage. Like, I'm not saying that they're bad people on or off stage. They're lovely people. But when they're on that stage, like especially Jesse, he turns into something completely different. Like, he's still a lovely person, but when he's on that stage, he's in a zone, and he does own it. He does change into a completely different machine,
Yeah, and when people see it, I always think of like when you walk into a venue and you look up at the stage, you might see a whole bunch of old blokes with grey hair.
Yeah.
Instantly, you're a human being. You'll go, old dudes.
Yeah.
Or you walk in and see a whole bunch of white-faced, painted dudes just going crazy, like, wow. Like, I'm getting my value for money here. Like, I'm getting something from them. And you're forced to watch it. You're like, wow, what's this? What's this?
And I remember years ago, Jesse used to run through the crowd to start the show with a chainsaw.
Right.
Like, I think it was maybe Candy Paint.
Yeah,
was the band.
Yeah.
He used to be at the Trocadero, and he used to sneak up to the front of house area, and we'd play the intro CD. Back then.
Just got to pull off here. We're picking up my sister, by the way.
That's all good.
Yeah.
We'd play the intro CD, and then all of a sudden Jess would be like, right, and jump up and fire up this chainsaw and run through the crowd. It was hilarious. To a certain degree, he doesn't do that anymore because of